At the turn of the 20th century, Vienna was an epicenter for music, literature, and the visual arts. The city became a magnet for free-thinking artists from across Europe. At times, this cultural environment led to conflict and scandal. A pulsating metropolis of nearly 2 million inhabitants, many of whom had come from across the empire to find work in the thriving industrial sector, Vienna was also a deeply divided city. While the poor were packed into tenement buildings, the aristocracy, barons of commerce, and senior civil servants lived in splendid apartments. Jugendstil style. By 1900, an extensive program of public works had been completed, providing an underground railway system, new tramways, public buildings, and electric street lighting. The first ever international automobile rally was held in the city in 1899. Much of the new construction was designed in the Jugendstil, the German term for Art Nouveau. Working alongside architects, leading artists decorated interiors with symbolist motifs, such as elegant floral patterns and sinuous female forms. Café culture. Above all, Vienna was a vibrant café society, where artists and their friends met to discuss projects, artistic events abroad, and most probably, the controversial ideas of Viennese neurologist and founder of psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud. Upright Viennese society believed Freud's theories concerning primal sexual urges and the meaning of dreams were immoral. It was in the realm of sex and nudity that artists would also have their battles with Viennese notions of decency. Secession Building, Vienna, Austria, designed and built by Joseph Maria Ulbrich, a student of Austrian architect Otto Wagner. The Secession Building is a striking example of Viennese Jugendstil, Art Nouveau, architecture. Current events. 1848 to 1914, Vienna's population boomed from 400,000 to over 2 million. 1897, Karl Lueger, the openly anti-Jewish politician, is elected the city's Lord Mayor. 1908, Vienna is shocked by the first Kunstschau, art show, where Klimt and others show provocative new work. 1911, death of the leading modernist composer Gustav Mahler. Pre-war Vienna. Oskar Kokoschka. Beep Klarn, 1886, D. Montreux, 1980. An artist, playwright, and illustrator, Oskar Kokoschka was still a student at Vienna's School of Arts and Crafts when he gained immediate notoriety in 1908 at the newly conceived Kunstschau, where he exhibited a painted skeletal head in blue wash, a screaming self-portrait bust, and a group of violent illustrations for his play Murderer, Hope of Women. Kokoschka went on to paint portraits of many of Vienna's leading intellectuals, exposing them to his frank, psychologically probing brushwork. He later developed a fascination for cityscapes which he addressed with the very same insight and energetic handling. Adolf Loos. The architect Adolf Loos was Kokoschka's great friend and supporter, who introduced the artist to other prominent Viennese intellectuals. Kokoschka's depiction of Loos shows the nervous energy of sitter and artist alike. 1909, oil on canvas, 74 by 93 centimeters, Staatliche Museen, Berlin, Germany. Egon Schiele. Btulln, near Vienna, 1890, D. Vienna, 1918. An expressive and brilliant draftsman, Schiele gained renown for his erotic and somewhat tortured portrayal of the naked body. He also painted still lives in the local countryside, which he liked to visit by train on day trips. Schiele portrayed the uneasy relationship he had with his mother in acutely melancholic pictures such as Dead Mother, 1910. In April 1912, he was arrested on the grounds that children visiting his studio had, when viewing his art, been exposed to pornography. He was imprisoned for 26 days. The scandal only enhanced his reputation and his work gained many new followers. Self-portrait nude. Schiele drew and painted his naked form at least 100 times, closely exploring his most private desires and sexual urges. Typically, his body is set against an empty monochrome backdrop, to stress the sense of fragility, and at an awkward angle to heighten the sense of tension. 1910, watercolor and gouache on paper, Grafische Sammlung, Vienna, Austria. Gustav Klimt. Baumgarten, near Vienna, 1862. Vienna, 1918. Fusing symbolist imagery, a gentle impressionism, and boldly designed patterns, Gustav Klimt created a highly distinctive and sensual style. His decorative art came to typify the spirit of progress and luxury in Imperial Vienna prior to World War I, and he himself had an enormous appetite for life. Klimt was generous to his fellow artists, who affectionately dubbed him Der König, the King. He won important commissions from the Viennese authorities and was awarded the Emperor Prize in 1690 and the Gold Prize at the World Exhibition in Paris in 1900. At times, Klimt's frank, realistic portrayal of nudity and unconventional compositions led to fierce criticism and scandal and accusations that his work was pornographic. Klimt also painted many fine landscapes, but is renowned for his portraits of beautiful, aristocratic, and wealthy women. Many of his drawings were considered too erotic to show in public. Lifeline. 1862 born, an engraver's son. 1876–83 attends Vienna's School of Applied Arts. 1886–88 works on paintings for Vienna's Burg Theatre. 1894 commissioned to paint 3 symbolist panels for Vienna University. 1903 visits Italy to study ancient Byzantine mosaics. 1905 returns fee for panels to Vienna University following scandals over nudity. 1907–2008 paints The Kiss, CPP 414–15. 1909–11 paints friezes for Stocklet Palace, Brussels. 1918 dies from pneumonia. Fable. Klimt's technical ability impressed the Viennese art establishment and won him important commissions. This classical scene illustrates the artist's grasp of the dynamic use of dark and light. 1883, oil on canvas, 85 by 118 centimeters, Historisches Museum der Stadt Wien, Vienna, Austria. Judith in the biblical tale, the brave and beautiful Jewish widow Judith beheads the drunken Assyrian tyrant Holofernes after a banquet. The choker across her neck reminds us that her pleasure stems from the beheading. 1901, oil on canvas, 84 by 42 centimeters, Österreichische Gallery, Vienna, Austria. Closer look. Caught in the ACT surrounded by golden fig trees and grapevines reminiscent of ancient Assyrian times, Judith's face with lips parted and eyes closed reveals her at the height of her inner excitement after the deed. Emily Floge. This luscious portrait of Klimt's sister-in-law and close companion signals a marked shift in his portraiture. The former mild impressionism is replaced by a flatter, more geometric style. Richly colored patterns and strong design dominate, yet the viewer's gaze is drawn to his model's tender expression. 1902, oil on canvas, 181 by 184 centimeters, Historisches Museum der Stadt Wien, Vienna, Austria. Closer look. Abstraction. Klimt's repeated ornamental motifs allowed him to revel in what in time would develop into almost abstract designs. Here, the artist's use of deep blues, mauves, and pure gold oblongs make for stunning effect. Danae. Klimt's depiction of the mythological story of Jupiter ravishing Danae in the form of a shower of gold caused an unfortunate scandal. Many were offended by the figure's openly sexual position and her expression of dreamy ecstasy. 1907–2008, oil on canvas, 77 x 83 centimeters, private collection. All art is erotic. Gustav Klimt. The Kiss. Gustav Klimt, 1907–2008, 180 by 80 centimeters. Österreichische Gallery Belvedere, Vienna, Austria. Closer look. The Kiss. Gustav Klimt. There is perhaps no other painting in Western art so celebrated for its depiction of sensual love. The image is not just an intimate moment, but a universalized embrace between the sexes. Of the couple's bodies we see only the man's head and neck, and the hands that encourage his lover's lips towards his own. Of the woman, we are shown only her face, arm, hands, and feet. The pictorial space is dominated by elaborate decorative motifs made up of geometric patterns and flowers. It is astonishing that with so little of the couple depicted, Klimt so readily convinces us of their intimacy. Technique. In The Kiss, Klimt uses both matte and shiny gold leaf, and silver thread on the woman's robe. Gold dust covers the umber background. The raised spiral shapes on the robes are gesso covered in gold. Klimt had studied the decorative arts as a student, and was versed in gilding and mosaic work and had visited Ravenna's churches with their Byzantine mosaics. Here, The mosaic is mostly painted effect, but there is some raised ornament. The flowers and flesh are oil paint. Detailed decoration. The symbolic element of the decoration is exemplified in the pattern on the robes. The man's is more angular, comprising black, silver, and white rectangles and squares. The woman's robe, below, has colored roundels representing flower heads. Flowers. The painted naturalistic bed of flowers on which the couple kneel provides an essential counterweight to the stylized clothing and chair. It also serves to anchor this almost mystical description of love on to the material world. A background. Klimt uses shiny gold dust on top of a warm red umber for the painting's background. The flatness and neutrality does not add depth, but complements the costumes, the couple, and the flowery clifftop. Composition. The two figures are depicted against a tall wingback chair, which is not always noticed by the viewer. Only the diminution of the roundels, circles, towards the top of the canvas gives a hint of depth to the chair. Some commentators have interpreted the man, woman, and chair as forming a phallic shape, suggesting sexual conquest. Another argument is that the lovers are set inside a golden bell, symbolizing the couple's isolation from the outside world as they are lost in their embrace. Lovers. Both lovers wear flowers in their hair reminiscent of a nimbus, halo, found in Byzantine icons. Klimt focuses the viewer's attention on the recipient of the kiss. The woman is portrayed submissively, rather than as the femme fatale so typical of much of Klimt's work. Tension. The woman's toes curling to grip the earth suggests that she, at least, senses the precariousness of the relationship. In context. The subject of the kiss. At the beginning of the 20th century, artists began to explore the nature of intimacy between the sexes. Two masterpieces of modern sculpture, by Constantin Brancusi and Auguste Rodin, were on the theme of the kiss, while at the same time Norwegian artist Edvard Munch depicted the darker side of intimacy. The kiss. Edvard Munch. The young woman's head is obscured by the shadowy male figure, and her body, painted in pearly tones, suggests an innocence that is about to be taken. See 1910, Oil on Canvas, 59.5 by 45 centimeters, private collection.